Fastidious is one word. You know, the last tour I did was some years ago now, in the mid-90s, and you know, as usual, jammed to the doors, standing ovations every night, but you better believe the next day at the sound check, you want to change something. I think we'll just do this. What are you doing, man? Everything's going great. He always looking for that extra little bit, that extra little way to change it, even though we all thought it was going great. You know, we couldn't see how he could make it better. He certainly could. Constantly thinking about it. But as a performer, you know, it goes without saying, as Russell said, he had the magic. He had something else going on there, apart from being a great singer and a wonderful entertainer. But he's been referred to recently, you know, the falling of a great totara. And like that tree, he was well suited to New Zealand conditions. He managed himself in his career very, very well. Very few entertainers can do that. I mean, all of us in New Zealand have to do it to some extent, but not many of us are that good at it. He was very good at it. You know, he was very good at managing his own career. His humour, which we all know about it, was always self-effacing, or most of the time. Ordinary Beige Entertainer, Howard Morrison Marae, you know, My Old Man's an All Black. He never really used other people very much to get a laugh. He always got it through himself. He was just very suited to the New Zealand way of life, and most of the concerts that I remember, and I saw Howard work a lot, I didn't work with him that much, apart from the 12 years on the Big Hats, and a number of tours around the country.
I was going to ask you about the Big Hats. How did they come about?
Look, I really don't know. I just started 2 on 1, the Television One here in 1977, and got asked if I'd like to do them, and Howard was one of 3 of us that started on those ads, and we went along for 12 years. And Howard carried on for 2 or 3 years after that, so it was a sort of long association. A lot of fun doing that. You know, and a lot of the shows that I saw him do, and especially in cabaret, 70–80% of the audience were Pākehā. And that always amazed me. And he kind of knew that. He knew that he had a big following with Pākehā New Zealand. It wasn't that all Maori turned out to see him. Very, very big Pākehā following, and he was very aware of that. Yeah.
What about your memories, Eddie Lowe?
Well, as Ray said, he could entertain to a room full of Pākehā, a room full of Maori, go to Hong Kong and sing to a room full of Chinese, and he had just some magic way of communicating with the people that he was entertaining. And I'm sure sometimes there wasn't much comedic stuff that he might do otherwise if he had a room full of Chinese and they can't understand it, but he could just concentrate on a voice. And then he sang to some people who could understand him. He turned it a bit funny, you know. But he always had the gift of knowing what to do. He was, you know, when I started learning Howard, I think that's when I started to try and develop my voice. You know, because if you're going to be on the same shows, you've got to be up there, you know.
Neil Collins, what do you think his legacy will be to New Zealand?
Certainly it will be as a performer the very best. I likened him to be the Sir Edmund Hillary of entertainment, and I've had the great privilege of working with him for many years on several tours of New Zealand, and I've been able to watch him from the wings as well and just see the charisma that he had. He had so much personality that he was able to bring to those shows in particular. So anyone who went to see him at any performance anywhere in the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years will remember a good night out. And that's what he wanted to give people. And may I say, there's only one person I've ever seen upstage Sir Howard on stage, and that was his mother, Kua. And I had the great honour and privilege of presenting the entire family in a show I promoted in Dunedin shortly after This Is Your Life. And 22 of them came down on stage. It was a magnificent night. Howard would quite often, when his mother was on tour, and believe me, there was no hanky-panky or hijinks backstage when she was in the vicinity. But anyway, he would sing My Mother's Eyes, and then, ladies and gentlemen, he would say, "Here is my mummy," he would call her. And this gracious lady would come on and sing, I think, Hine, Hine, and every night she would get a standing ovation. Howard would say, well, how do you top that, Mother? And there would be an encore. And he was so proud of her, and she was so dignified and so proud of him and her entire whanau. It was just a magical occasion. Memories like that, that's what we have at this stage of our lives. It's our friends, it's our family, and it's our memories, and he gave us so many.
Can I put the next question to all three of you? What don't we know about Sir Howard? There's been a lot said of him over the past few days, but what don't we know of him?
That's a difficult one, Shane. I think he's such a public life. He did very much so, and I think...
he's a good squash player.
Good squash player.
Yeah, I played a lot of squash with him. Yeah, well, a little bit of squash with him. Yeah.
But he was always one of the people. He was always one of us, and would play rugby with Neil and squash with Ray, and I'm sure sports and things like that with everybody. But there was never anything hidden about Howard. Howard was as you saw him. He was Howard. There was nothing hidden, nothing different. That was the man. He was the man. He gave what he was, and there was nothing about Howard that from the 40 years that I've known him, there's nothing about Howard that is different. I mean, he was always the same person. And my business partner, the late Benny Levin, who actually discovered the Howard Morrison Quartet and brought them to New Zealand, I'm sure would agree with me that, and he's up there with Howard as well too, and Jerry, and I'm sure that he would agree that Howard was the man. He gave you what he was, and he never changed. He was always Sir Howard Morrison, and back in those days, he was Howard, and he was always the same man.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming in this morning. We do really appreciate your time. Unfortunately, we have to leave it there, but thank you very much. And Neil Collins, thank you also very much for joining us down there in Dunedin.
Kia ora, Shane.
Well, there came a point in Sir Howard's life when he became aware of social issues affecting New Zealand. Rather than ignore it, he felt he could make a difference. So, with instincts honed from his stage life to guide him, he set out to inspire the nation's youth.
Ladies and gentlemen, two sayings, English ones, Maori heart ones. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Think about it, because the world will go forward without you if you don't change. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And the last one is, wherever you are, that's where you is.
I love working with young people. And one of the best times of my life was back in the late 70s, driving the Two Tangata program in schools. Two Tangata, stand tall. The problem was that too many young Maori were leaving school without getting qualifications. So the idea was to use my high profile and other entertainers to bring the message to stay at school and get that ticket to ride, to work with your guidance counsellors to achieve your dreams.
Automatically it sounds down here. Wairua, if you do wairua.
For me, the key is having pride in yourself. That's why I like getting involved in kapahaka.
The next one is, here we are, making a statement. Here we come, here we go, turning.
Because, for Maori, taking pride in our culture is the keystone to taking pride in ourselves. Here we are, Yatsi Rangi Wewahi. My lot with a winning performance. Awesome. It's a commitment. If you attain in Maori, if you attain some form of recognition through profile and acceptance and recognised for that, that's the time to give something back to the people. I mean, it's a commitment. You just don't suddenly become a philanthropic type guy. It's part of the genes that you acknowledge that.
Now, back in August, TVNZ's Good Morning Show helped Sir Howard celebrate his 74th birthday. His response was to round up some of the whanau to form the Sir Howard Morrison Quartet and sing his own birthday waiata, in true fashion, the classic, Do You Love Me?
Do you love me? And next week on Marae, part 2 of our tribute to the late Sir Howard Morrison.
Oh, my mate bucks in all black, he wears a silver fur. His mates just didn't want him, so he sent and got a turn.
Did you have a favourite song that you used to sing with him?
No, but we had to stretch our vocal cords because every last note had to go 2 minutes long.
That's right. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he wanted from us. And if we could all do 150%, he was very happy.
We'd love to hear your thoughts and memories of Sir Howard. Send them to us. The address is on screen now.